All right, back on the Sort of Sports podcast. And I'm going to be real honest with everybody. It is currently 10:26 on the 6th of August. Tomorrow is when the MLB playoff starts. And I am really whooped. I feel really tired. And I got to wake up early tomorrow. But it doesn't really matter because I need to get this recorded before the MLB playoff starts, which is tomorrow at like 3 p.m. Pretty sure the first game is. So, I don't have time to postpone this, even though I'd like to record tomorrow and be in a little more better energy. So, I'm going to do my best as always to, successfully fail to predict the World Series correctly. I've yet to do it. Out of the 3 years, this will be the third time. No, second. Yes, this is the third time I've done the pod because the first time I did it, I predicted, I think. Well, the playoffs had already started, so I didn't do predictions. Well, so then I guess it doesn't count. But I still predicted that it was going to be Rays Dodgers, even though I literally had like a 50-50 shot because it was that Rays Astros game 7, and I took the Rays. So failed then. And then last year, my World Series pick was. It was somebody. Sox. Yeah. I forget exactly who. I know this type of crap I should do beforehand. Was it. Who would it have been? Padres Sox? Did I really believe in the Padres to make playoffs? Who did I like? Let me look back real quick. Going to my notes on my phone. It should be somewhere in here. Episode 16? Yes. White Sox over Giants. So my pennants were Giants over Brewers and White Sox over Rays. Okay, then. Well, I didn't even predict the games. Well, this time I predicted the games, like how many games it will take. So I'm a cool guy like that. So, that'll be pretty exciting. All right, so let's get into everything. We know the playoff bracket. And that, of course, is for the wild card in the AL. We'll have the Guardians versus the Rays. For the wild card, the other wild card in the AL, it is the Mariners versus the. Why does my brain not work all of a sudden? I can't remember. The Mariners versus the Blue Jays. Then in the wild card for the NL, it's Phillies Cards and Padres Mets. But before we do all that, we got to go through the awards. Yes, the official awards. I was looking through different things online, seeing what other outlets had, and I feel kind of bad because I was like, crap, my picks for the awards are kind of the same as everyone else's because I feel like it's pretty cut and dry this year. I don't think there's too many hot picks. I feel like everything's pretty laid out. For a manager of the year of the NL, it's probably going to be Dave Roberts. I would love to give it to Buck Showalter. That was my original prediction. We'll look back at my original predictions at the end. So I'd love to give it to Buck Showalter, but it probably should be Dave Roberts for the Dodgers. They won 111 games. That's like some of the most that's ever been won, so they probably deserve it. Then in the AL, they probably deserve it. Yeah, Dave Roberts. All 6 Dave Roberts. No, I'm kidding. For the AL, it's got to be Terry Francona. Won 92 games of a team that I had placing last in the division. Like, predicted to be like one of the worst teams in the league by most people, including me. So I got to respect him for that. So, you got to give it to Terry Francona. Good for Terry. All right, so Rookie of the Year, it's got to be Julio Rodriguez. I predicted that at the beginning of the year, so I'm pretty proud of that one. I really should stop giving away this because if I'm really gonna run through these later, I really shouldn't be telling everybody now. I mean, come on, Ryan. We know that I'm tired, and I'm kind of trying to get this one out here. I mean, I enjoy doing the pod. I don't want anybody to think I don't. I love doing the podcast, but I am saying I'm a little whooped tonight. I'm just kind of like, ooh, but I do got to get this done. So I'm sorry. This might. As far as, hood classics, I'm going to do my best to make sure this episode's still a good one. But if this is your first time watching, I beg you, watch, literally any other episode except for the one where I was sad because the Bengals lost the Super Bowl, and I guarantee I have more energy. That will always be the least energized I ever was for a podcast. I was very upset when I knew I had to record. All right. And it's also kind of a nice moment because I don't think I'll ever have a sadder podcast than that. I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I really shouldn't say that. I'm just cursing myself. I have a wood desk here. I just knocked on it, but I'm not even that superstitious. Honestly, I believe I just cursed myself, and because I'm not very superstitious, I don't think there's a way to get out of it. I'm superstitious enough to believe I cursed myself, but I'm not superstitious enough to believe I can get out of it, so I'm really screwing myself over here. Let's get into Julio Rodriguez stats. On the year, he had a 284 batting average, a 345 OBP, 147 OPS plus, which is impressive. You guys know I like OPS plus. So, yeah, he's been statistically like the best rookie. He should be winning. I think he's going to. There we go. For the NL Rookie of the Year, I'm not sure if my boy, Mr. Morale, counts for the Cubbies, because I would love to give it to my boy Christopher, but I don't think Chris counts. Oh, he does count. Chris counts. Okay. Well, is there any way I can give it to him over Harris? Because I feel like it probably should be Michael Harris the second. But for the Braves, he's a stud. Yeah, Michael Harris, let's compare. I think he's probably got better numbers than Morale. Even though I love Chris Morale. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, as they call the Cubs. All right, my Kendrick Lamar fans got the reference. Yeah, Harris beats him like every stat. So Morale's got a 235 batting average, 308 OBP, and a 433 slugging. Harris beats him in all with 297, 339 OBP, and a 515 slugging. His OPS is 7. Morale's OPS is 741. Michael Harris is 853. OPS plus a 107 for Morale, so he's a little better than average. And Michael Harris is a 135. So, yeah, Harris wins. Michael Harris, outfielder for the Braves, freaking stud. Absolute beast. He is, how old is he? Wow. Okay, well, I have an older sister, and he's barely older than her, so now I'm freaked out. So, that's, wow. And I'm going to watch this guy play in the playoffs. That's really funky on my brain. I mean, I don't know why I care. I'm not the one who's getting outplayed by people my age. So, it's my 21-year-old sister that should be disappointed in herself, not me. I mean, I'm younger than this dude. I still got time to catch up to Michael Harris and, be just turning legal drinking age this year and also mashing balls and having a slugging over 500 in the MLB. I mean, come on. I still got time to do all that. For those of you who don't know, I am absolutely terrible at baseball. So, it's time for me to start improving. Most improved player. All right, NL Cy Young. I'm giving it to Sandy Alcantara. I love him. My favorite pitcher in the entire league. My two favorite players in the league play for the Marlins. It's a sad life I live. Because, Tatis, all the steroid stuff's really upset me. So, it's number one favorite player is Jazz Chisholm. Number two, Jazz Chisholm Jr., obviously. Number two is Juan Soto. And then probably three, it might be Sandy Alcantara. I've also heard Alcantara, but I feel like Alcantara sounds better, and I've heard it both ways, and I'm going to call him Alcantara, especially because Q said it's Alcantara. And not that I always believe Quinn's right, because he's wrong a lot. Trust me, you should listen to The Big Salad. I didn't even mean to plug. You don't have to listen to The Big Salad. You can do whatever you want. I'm never one of those guys that's going to make you listen to anything. You know what? Click off this video right now. Do it. If you didn't listen, I'm disappointed. I want to make sure I look at those numbers, and there's no views past this mark. Whatever mark we're at. We're like 7 minutes in. So, if there's a view after the 7-minute mark, you failed me and you didn't listen. But you know what? That means you're a rebellious dog and you didn't listen to me. I mean, that's props. If you want to be a part of the Rebel Alliance, that's cool. You don't have to listen to me. It's your choice. We live in a free country. Unless you don't live in America, and maybe you don't live in a free country. And if so, I lied to you and I'm sorry. So, Sandy Alcantara. Innings pitch, he led the league. That's kind of interesting. Complete games, he led the league with 6. Innings pitch was 228.2. He also led the league in batters faced, which makes it more impressive when you find out that his ERA was a 2.28, and his ERA plus. Why are they hiding that from me? I like that stat. Show it to me. Where is it? Why are you hiding ERA pluses? Come on, Baseball Reference. Where'd you put them? They should be somewhere in here. There it is, 178. Holy crap. So, yeah, based off the average pitcher, his ERA is significantly better than everybody else's. So, he's a beast. He's got a 2.28 ERA as a starter, so he's an absolute monster. His whip's a 980. This guy's absolutely cooking. We're giving it to Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara, my boy. All right, we're going to give the AL Cy Young to Verlander. I don't think any of these have been hot takes yet. I'm pretty sure CBS Sports had all the same picks as me, and for MVPs, too. Like, this year, it's pretty cut and dry who wins the award. It's not like last year. It's like Bryce Harper, Soto, like all of them had a stand. Nah. Like, sorry, it was Bryce Harper, Soto, and crap. Who's the third guy for the NL? I think I gave it to Soto, right? Yeah, because he was crazy. But there was somebody else, and they gave it to Bryce. No, I might have given it to Bryce too. It was Soto, somebody else, and Bryce. I feel dumb that I can't remember this, but it's whatever. All right, 2022 for Verlander, 39 years old. And he had led the league in ERA with 175. So we thought our boy Alcantara was impressive. Well, Justin Verlander's over here with an ERA plus of 220. So statistically, he was even stronger than Alcantara. And he's really old, and he looks older than most teachers I have in school. So props to this guy. What a dog. Justin Verlander. I guess he's motivated when he goes home to Kate Upton. He's just like, I'm going to have to go out there and cook. So he, good for Justin Verlander. I don't really like the team he plays on, but, he deserves it. He's also won an MVP as a pitcher. He's that big of a dog. He also was the pennant MVP, so that's impressive too. He's also about to be a 3-time Cy Young winner. I already knew he won too. I'm just really, really hyping this guy up. That's because he's really good at baseball. So good for Justin Verlander. Came back from Tommy John surgery, absolutely cooking, and his best ERA in his career with 175. So he might be playing the best we've ever seen him at, which is nuts. So there we go. For NL MVP, we're going to Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt and the Cardinals were way better than I really thought they'd be. They were great, and Paul Goldschmidt especially was great. He had he's a 7.8 WAR on the year, which just means he's really valuable. Hit 35 home runs, had 115 RBIs, stole 7 bases, not as much as I'd be impressed with, but an OBP of 404, a slugging of 578, an OPS of 981, and an OPS plus of 180. Really the most impressive thing here is his batting average at 317. That's pretty freaking good. And he led the league in slugging with 578. And he also led it in OPS, which would make sense because he has a good on-base percentage at 404. That also made him the leader in OPS plus with 180. So, yeah. He cooked. I don't know why I zoned out for a moment. Another old boy here, Paul Goldschmidt. He's a pretty old guy. I'm trying to think. How old is he? 87, so he's 35. So yeah, pretty old dog. All right, let's get over to the man that you knew was going to win MVP. I love Shohei Ohtani. I really do. It's not Shohei Ohtani. It's Aaron Judge. He has 62 home runs. He led the leagues. Yeah, he led all the MLBs. No. He led the league in, runs, home runs, RBIs, walks, on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS, and OPS plus, and total bases. Now you're confused because you're like, well, Ryan, I thought you said Paul Goldschmidt led that. I completely forgot the fact that Baseball Reference separates the MLB by leagues, so American and national. So Paul Goldschmidt did lead the NL, but overall, Aaron Judge led the entire league with 425, 686, and 111 for his BA, OBP, and OPS. So that's how that works. I should have explained that. But to be honest, I almost forgot for a moment. I'm telling you, I'm a little out of it today. I'm still trying to cook up a banger, but I'm a little out of it. My number one fan, Dalton, when you're listening, please don't text me that you're disappointed in me. And if you were actually my number one fan, you would have clicked off a while ago. So I'm disappointed in you for clicking off. Also, you never watched the baseball ones. I don't know what you're doing here. For those of you that are new here, I hope you don't feel insulted. I appreciate you. But also, it's kind of my joke. So, if you don't like the joke, you can just not watch me. That's who, once again, who's not. I'm not going to stop you. I literally told you like 10 minutes ago to leave. All right, so back to Aaron Judge. Yeah, he was the best player in baseball this year, no doubt about it. I kind of used to make fun of this guy, and then he just was like, no, I'm going to cook. I really hope he leaves the Yankees because I kind of like him. He seems like a cool dude. He's a good-looking dude. He's got a big smile. Sounds kind of like a fun guy. I got a friend named Mike, and he kind of looks like him. I'd like him to be on the Marlins. It'd be pretty cool. but he's not going to. He's probably going to stay at the Yankees, and that sucks. But, he was best player in baseball, 211 OPS plus, led the league. That's freaking crazy. He hits better than two guys. That's just how it works. What a dog. Yeah, he's really good. So, Judge, best player in baseball this year. He should win it. There we go. All right, let's move into the MLB playoff predictions. Starting in the NL, because I usually start AL, so we'll go NL. We got Phillies versus Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals here in 2. The wild card's a 3-game series. The Phillies, I think it's cool they made the playoffs. Good for you guys, but I don't really think they're beating this Cardinals team. I like the Cardinals pitching. I think they hit well. I mean, they're overall just a solid team. There's a team with not a lot of weaknesses. And I sound like I'm talking like a coach, but I legit mean this. Like, they don't have a lot of weaknesses. So, yeah, Cards in 2. Padres, Mets. I really want the Padres to do well. These are the 2 teams that I like the best in the playoffs. Like, from like a fan perspective, I just really cheer for these teams. But I think the Mets are significantly better, and Mets in 3. I would be shocked if the Padres win this, especially because the Padres aren't going to beat the Dodgers. And you're going to find out in a moment that I think the Mets can. Mets versus Dodgers, Mets in 5, and the DS. Yeah, Mets in 5. It's going to go all 5 games, but the Mets are going to win it out. They got Edwin Diaz. They got one of the best lineups in the league. Marte, Lindor, Pete Alonso. They've got one of the best lineups. I really like this Mets team a lot. I think they did get a little cold in September, which I don't like because usually teams that get cold in September lose in the playoffs. But there's something about this Mets team where I would feel really mad at myself if I didn't pick them to beat the Dodgers because I think they can do it. So I'm taking the Mets over the Dodgers. Steve Cohen bought this team for this reason. I think they're doing it. So there we go. Mets over Dodgers in 5. Also, it's a really unpredictable year of MLB, just like how it's going to be with the NFL. So it's pretty exciting, and I'm excited. But I'm saying that's why I'm kind of making some wild picks because I'm like, I feel like we're just going to get another World Series that's weird. Last year was a weird one. We get another weird one this year. All right, Braves, Cards. I actually kind of like this Cardinals team. I've come around. I'm taking Cardinals in 5. Should I probably play the odds and take Braves, Dodgers to be the pennant for the 3rd straight year? I probably should. Do I really ever do that? No. So, Cards in 5, Mets in 5. I honestly do believe this is what's going to go on. I'm not joking around here, boys. For those of you that are new here and still haven't left, leave now because I'm dead serious. I think the Cardinals are going to beat the Braves in 5. I almost put 4, but I'm not that ballsy. So, Cards in 5, Mets in 5. The pennant is Cards, Mets. Currently, the MLB, Rob Manfred is crying, screaming, and beating up the walls. Yeah, the walls are just getting the absolute tar kicked out of them. No. Punching through walls because it wasn't Braves Dodgers, and he doesn't know how to sell anybody on the Cardinals, but he doesn't have to worry because the Mets are beating them in 6. The Mets are going to the World Series. He's happy because it's a New York team. Put Jerry Seinfeld on the broadcast. Let's go. Move over to the AL. Also, Mets in 6 over the Cards. Make sure that's not lost. That's just because I really like the Mets. I think they're really good. They've got really good pitching. They got Jacob deGrom, the best pitcher alive probably. I mean, still, this is one of his weakest seasons, but still, he's a stud. We know deGrom's a beast. They got probably the 2nd or 3rd best closer in Edwin Diaz. I mean, the best one has to be Emmanuel Clase. I'm sorry. It's the truth. So, he's the Guardians pitcher, obviously. So, Edwin Diaz is a beast. When they play freaking Narcos and he comes out, it's going to slap in the playoffs, and I'm hype. Also, from an offense perspective, Big Meat Pete, Frankie Lindor, Starling Marte. Everybody loves Vogelbach. I could see him getting a lot of talk on Twitter while they're going on a playoff run. I just like this Mets team. I think they're in the right spot, taking them to go to the World Series. Let's move over to the AL wildcard. Going into this, I genuinely had no clue I was taking to play out of the AL. My mind was telling me Stros. My heart was telling me Mariners, and both of those were telling me Guardians. And there's obviously that huge part of me that's a big Rays backer. So this is going to be wild. So the AL wildcard. Wild. Get it? Rays, Guardians. I really like both these teams. I think they're both built very well. I think they both have managers that I really like. They both are teams that I think overperformed slightly. The Rays, even though coming into the season I thought they're going to be good. No, sorry. And I don't know if they both overperformed. I take it back. The Guardians overperformed. The Rays didn't. The Rays are about where I expected them to be. I just wish the Rays had a little more pop to them. I think they overall have one of the best, pitching bullpens in the league. They don't really have a big sexy starter like they used to when they had Snell and Glass now. But, they still have Glass. Right? Is Glass now out? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let me make sure Glass now is healthy. Because that just hit me. Yeah, okay, he is. That's what I thought. I was like, am I? Yeah. So he's still Glass now, but it's weird that they lost Snell. I mean, they did lose him 2 years ago, but I'm saying it's not as like in 2020 when they just like was like, holy crap, they got all these great. I'm just they'll become more of a reliever based team now. Glass now still a stud though. But the Guardians, you got Shane Bieber, one of the best starters in the league. Yeah, one of the best, in my opinion, the best closer in Emmanuel Clase. You've got an underratedly good lineup. I mean, all around, I like their lineup. They just get on base. They're not a power hitting team. They are literally the opposite of the Yankees. This Rays Guardians matchup is the opposite of the Yankees. It's no homers, a bunch of base hits, and pitching. And I'm taking the Guardians in 3. They are one of the teams that got hot in September, and that's always a good sign. So, I also feel like they're hungry. I just like what the Guardians got going on. Then we got Mariners Jays. There's no freaking way I'm not taking the Mariners to beat the Blue Jays. Blue Jays underperformed. Mariners are cooking like everybody wanted them to. Mariners are a team that got hot near the end of the season. Mariners in 2. Blue Jays don't even get a game. Blue Jays one of those teams where it all seemed like it was line up, but in baseball, the team that's best on paper never seems to win it, except for 2020 with the Dodgers, and that was an anomaly because it's a shortened season. So, I'm an AP stats, guys. I know what I'm talking about. Actually, I don't. I'm only like 5 weeks into the class, but you know what I mean. Regardless, Mariners in 2. Let's move into the divisionals. Stros Mariners. Holy crap, I'll be rooting for the Mariners so badly in this. I just got to say, this ALDS is like hero villain across the board for me. You got Astros, Mariners, and Guardians, Yankees. I've set myself up for I will be cheering so hard for the Mariners over the Stros. So hard. That'll go 5 games. I think that'll go the distance, and I'm going to take the Mariners out of it. I probably should take the Stros, but I like the Mariners better. Pitching-wise, they do not stack up as well as the Astros, but lineup-wise, they definitely can go at them. Julio can have, I feel like, just a big game where he goes like 2 for 4, not 2 for 4, like 2 for 3, or maybe he goes like 3 for 4 and hits a home run, a double, and a single, and just like has himself a game, and they interview him afterwards on CBS, and Joe Buck's just like, oh man, he's one of those young stars in the game. Yeah, one of those. He's going to have one of those games at some point, and that'll probably be in the DS. This Mariners team's got a little bit of magic to them, and I like them. Taking them over the Stros because the best team, if I took the 2 best teams on paper and I took the World Series be Stros, Dodgers, I would cry and be upset with myself. And on top of that, hardly ever does that happen. It feels like we're going to have another wild World Series where it's not the 2 teams you expect, so I'm taking them out, both of them in the DS, because honestly, that's kind of where I think it's going to happen. I feel like they're going to take that extra break because of the wild card, and then bam, get slapped. So Mariners in 5. Guardians, Yankees. The Yankees are a team that are built to lose in the playoffs. They're a home run-based team. Not the best pitching. Easily going to lose in the playoff. Guardians in 4. I would take them in 3, but I don't have the balls. So Guardians in 4. This pennant is Guardians versus Mariners. I don't know what to do here. I want to put the Mariners in the World Series. I really do. But I already think putting them all the way in the pennant was a little too far. I don't love their pitching. I don't honestly. I know no one talks about this in baseball, but defense kind of matters too. And I think they've got a pretty good defense, as in throw the ball to first base type defense and outfield. But I like their defense. I think their pitching's a little weaker than I'd like, and hitting wise they're good. But I think the Guardians have more guys that can step up hitting wise. For example, Jose Ramirez on the down low had an MVP season. If Jose Ramirez had this season when Judge wasn't going off, we'd be talking about how good Jose Ramirez is right now, and no one is because Judge had the year of a lifetime. So, taking Jose Ramirez to win the whole thing. Yeah, just Jose. No, taking the Guardians. In 6 over the Mariners. I really don't even care who wins that because I'm happy with both those teams just being there. I would love that. So, yeah. Guardians in 6. This sets us up for a little bit of an odd World Series. Mets, Guardians. You got the Big Apple boys, the more middle class, the Mets, the middle class Mets. And then you've got the Guardians, a team that is, from a name perspective, brand new to this year. So it's wild that this is the matchup. But I think the Mets are significantly better. Mets in 6. I took the Guardians all the way to the World Series. But I'm wearing a Mets hat. It's become the top hat I wear. I just think this team's really freaking good. So I'm taking the Mets in 6 over the Guardians. That's final prediction. And right about now, picture a Big Meat Pete. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's look back on my predictions from the beginning of the year. For the NL East, I had the Mets first, the Braves second, the Phillies third, the Marlins fourth, and the Nats fifth. I had it right as far as the teams that make the playoffs, which I had Mets, Braves, Phillies all making the playoffs. It was just the Braves had a better record than the Mets. For the Central, I had Brewers in it. I'm sorry, the Brewers winning the division, then the Cardinals, Cubs, Reds, Pirates. I think I'm half right. I actually probably should check because I don't actually remember who won this division. I mean, I know who won. The Cardinals did, but it's Cardinals, Brewers. I think Cubs were third. I don't remember who last was. I can't remember if it was the Pirates or the Reds. They're both bad. So the Reds were historically bad for a little bit there. Why couldn't the Orioles make the playoffs instead of the Blue Jays? The Blue Jays won 92 games. Maybe I shouldn't write them off so easily. Nah, I like my Guardians Mets World Series. It's a very me World Series. And when it comes to baseball, I kind of go with my heart a little too much. I think it's because it's got the most vibe of anything can happen type thing. So, you just kind of get on well, what if the Guardians went on a run? Maybe it could happen. And it's a really dangerous game to play. But I'm playing it. I mean, I don't have any money on this. Just my pride, which is more important, isn't it? If a man's word is worth nothing, then what is a man worth? You know what I mean? That's my quote. So next time you tell somebody that and you feel like you're a big old freaking deal, you remember that came from me, sucker. All right? Me. I can't get this to load. There it is. Epic. No, that's not what I wanted. It didn't load in right. Can I just have the MLB standing summary? Oh, there it is. Give me one moment, I have to sneeze. All right. Thank you for saying bless you. I appreciate it. And if you didn't, you already should have left at the 7-minute mark like I warned you. All right, here we go. So, NL Central. It was exactly like I predicted. It was No, not exactly. Because I had Brewers over Cardinals. But I had the last three teams right. Cubs, Reds, Pirates. For the West, I had Dodgers, then Padres, then Giants, then Rockies, then Diamondbacks, with the top Dodgers and Padres making the playoffs. I was right, except for the Diamondbacks had a better record than the Dodgers. Dodgers had a better record than the Rockies by 4 games. For the West, I had my AL predictions are much worse. For the West, though, I got it perfect. Oh, no. Yes, I did. Never mind. I had the Stros winning it, with the Mariners second, the Angels third, the Rangers fourth, and the A's fifth. For the Central, it was almost reverse of what I wanted. I had White Sox winning it with the best record in the entire league. Then I had the Twins and the Tigers and the Royals and the Guardians dead last. The Royals were dead last, with Detroit better by only 1 game. And Minnesota was significantly better than them with 78 wins to Detroit's 66. They were third. White Sox did end up being second with 81 and 81 on the year, which is really disappointing. And Cleveland won it with 92 wins, which feels like a lot. I mean, I expected them to lose 80. So they won 92. It's impressive. Then for the AL East, I had Orioles 5th, Yankees 4th, Red Sox 3rd, Rays 2nd, and Blue Jays 1st, with the top 3 all making the playoffs. I was right about the Blue Jays and Rays making the playoffs, but I was wrong about the order, which was Yankees winning the division, which I had them 4th, not even making the playoffs, which is not a good look. Then the Blue Jays 2nd, the Rays 3rd, so I was right about the Blue Jays having a better record than the Rays. And then Baltimore was 4th instead of 5th, and Boston was last. I really liked Baltimore. I really wish they would have made the playoffs. They were fun. And when we get into the fun stuff, which is my AL manager of the year was Scott Servais. He definitely could still win it, but probably should be Francona. My NL manager of the year was Buck Showalter. He could win it, but it probably should be Dave Roberts. My NL rookie of the year was O'Neal Cruz. Not a terrible pick, not at all. And then my AL rookie of the year was Julio Rodriguez, which I nailed on the head. NL Cy Young, Max Scherzer, not a terrible look. AL Cy Young, Lucas Giolito. Didn't really age that well. NL MVP, Juan Soto, not a terrible pick, but it's not really an exciting pick either. It wasn't really, making a big shot by saying Juan Soto, AL MVP had Luis Robert. That did not work out for me. Me writing the White Sox did not work out. My pennant was Padres Mets for the NL, and for the AL, it was White Sox Blue Jays. My World Series was the White Sox in 6 over the Mets with Tim Anderson, World Series MVP. Not going to happen. Literally no shot. So, that's fun. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're sitting at now, is that I do think the Mets are going to win it, and that's pretty exciting. As far as movies go, Amsterdam, the new David O. Russell film with Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington, along with a bunch of other actors and actresses, just released. I'll probably go see that within the next 2 weeks, so that's exciting. I haven't watched a new movie to add to my list for my films of 2022 since the beginning of September. The last movie I watched was Fight Club, and that was when I recorded the podcast about Donovan Mitchell. So, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of new movies, but I'm excited we're getting a big run here, because I will probably go see that. I'll see Amsterdam. Then it'll be like Black Adam, Wakanda Forever, Avatar 2, that new movie with Santa, David Harbour. That looks freaking sweet. I'm actually really excited for that. David Harbour's Santa, and it's like this house is getting robbed, and then Santa's like, no, that ain't going to happen. And so then it's like Santa versus like these guys trying to rob a house. I watched like 10 seconds of the trailer, and I was like, boom, I'm in. I mean, I love Die Hard. So if you make an action movie around Christmas, I'm automatically kind of interested. So, trying to think movies that I was oh yeah, the new Shazam. I'll see that. Pretty excited for that. Is there anything forgetting? I'm not a big horror movie guy, and that's when a lot of stuff comes out right now. Lyle Lyle Crocodile, probably not my cup of tea. Probably not gonna see that. Realistically, the biggest thing going on in movies for me right now is that today they released the trailer for the new Mario movie, and by golly, I really freaking like it. I think Jack Black as Bowser. I was pretty sure I was gonna like him as him anyway, and he killed it. And pretty much all the voices I like Charlie Day as Luigi, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. I like all that. Really, the only one I'm not the most sure on is Chris Pratt as Mario, but I think, I'll get used to it. I didn't think it was terrible. It wasn't egregious, so that's good. And I'm actually really excited for that movie. I really like the style they used. I think it looks fun. I think there's a shot that this is the new Lego movie. The Lego movie is genuinely one of my favorite movies of all time. I think I mentioned that before. It is like the movie from when I was younger, and on top of that, I still love it. And Chris Pratt is the lead voice of that, so maybe this can be like the next, 8 years later, we get a similar movie. No, it would be 9 years, because that's coming out April 2023. But I'm super excited for this new Mario movie. I hope it's really good, and then we can get some spin-offs, like the Luigi's Mansion movie, some other stuff. It'd be freaking awesome. So I would love for this to be good. I really want it to be good. I love Donkey Kong. Nintendo, make a new Donkey Kong game. I know Nintendo doesn't listen to this. They probably would have already clicked off at the 7-minute mark. Regardless of all that, I want a new Donkey Kong game, and I want it now. And hopefully I eventually get one. I don't really need it now. I just want it eventually. But, yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for this movie, and I think you, the listener, should check out the trailer, because I think it looks really good, and I'm really excited. I love the art style they used. I think it looks amazing, and, it legit is a chance to be my most anticipated movie of next year. I'm trying to think Marvel-wise. Next year's Guardians 3, The Marvels, and Blade. Oh, shoot, Blade. Never mind. Okay, well, Blade will be 1, and then maybe Mario 2. Well, I don't know, because Blade, they just fired the director, because he apparently, or the screenwriter, they fired somebody because he wasn't doing a good job. So I better not have to be freaking worried about this Blade movie. I've been hyping this up to myself for years. I mean, I'm so excited for this. But I mean, there's a chance Mario movie's number 1. I mean, I really actually think it looks good. And it's one of those where it's gonna make a boatload of money, because it got big off everybody memeing it and saying it's gonna be bad, and then it comes up and it actually looks good. So now everybody's gonna be like, oh shoot, it's looking good. And Mario is Mickey Mouse level recognizable, which is insane. I was watching Jeremy Jans' video. I think it's Jeremy Jans. It might be Jeremy Johns. I think it's Johns. He's a big movie reviewer on YouTube. And he's there's a debate. He was talking about the debate between if Mickey Mouse or Mario, who's the bigger mascot. And I'm I think the biggest mascot in the world is probably Mario. He's freaking huge. So, that movie is going to make so much money. It's going to be insane. Insane. Avatar 2's got nothing on the Mario movie. On top of that, I'm actually probably more excited for the Mario movie. If this is good, I feel like it could just scratch the itch of that Lego movie vibe that I want, where it's a kids movie, but it's not just for kids. It's just good for everybody. Because that's the thing with the Lego movie is only the best Pixar movies can do this, where it's like, people will be like, oh, Pixar movies are kind of for adults. Yeah, you're saying that because they make like an innuendo. I mean, like, it is a movie that is just straight up funny for everybody. It doesn't have to be an innuendo to be funny. To like, it doesn't make sense. Like, because if it, I get it. It's funny when they do some innuendos, but I'm like, if that's the only way you're appealing to the adult, is just be like, hey, you get this reference, or you get this slightly dirty joke. That's not as impressive as writing a joke that makes the 8-year-old and the 80-year-old laugh. That's really freaking impressive. And the Lego movie, I think, accomplishes that. So hopefully the Mario movie can do the same. That's a lot of pressure, but I'm applying it. So, I'm applying a lot of pressure to the team that has to take probably the most recognizable character like in the world into a movie. So good freaking luck, Illumination. But they did pump out a banger with Minions 2, baby. So, they should be fine. I did go see that movie in a suit. I'm that type of guy. It was really fun. We clapped when the movie was over, and all the parents just laughed at us. It was quite the experience. All right, well, I think that's it. Mets winning the World Series. I'm going to get this edited and posted as soon as possible, and then I'm going straight to bed. I am absolutely whooped. So hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sorta Sports podcast. More like the Sorta Stinky and Tired podcast. I actually don't smell that bad. I'm lying. I put Sniff 4D technology into this video. If you smell your phone and it smells bad, I promise that's you. So, gotcha. And if you smell and it smells good, that's me. And you can't prove me wrong. I put special technology on this. So, yeah. See you all in the next pod. I started watching Cobra Kai Season 4 finally. It's like I watched the first 3 seasons in like early 2021. Watched all 3 seasons. It's all that was out. And I was like, freaking love this show. Best show of 2021. Gave it that award on the pod. Season 4 came out in like September of that year, I think. Yeah, and I was like, oh, shoot. I'm not really ready to watch this. Then I never did. And then Season 5 came out like this September. And I was like, I really need to freaking watch this because I really like this show. So then I started watching it again, and I'm like, yep, I'm hooked again. Freaking love this show. I love Cobra Kai. It's up there with Stranger Things as an all-time classic for me. But I think it is over. I like, as much as I love Breaking Bad, and I love The Boys, and I love Cobra Kai, I feel like show of the year has to be Outer Banks. I did not mean to say Outer Banks. I love Outer Banks, but Season 2 is so much weaker than Season 1. It's not even funny. Show of the year for me will probably be Stranger Things. The way TV show of the year works for me, I know like literally no one is like holding me to these rules except me, but I still like to have them. For show of the year, I just pick whatever show I watch. It doesn't matter if it came out now, if it came out 30 years ago. It's just whatever new show I started watching. But like, it's disqualified if it's like Seinfeld, because I would win every year. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's not like that. But, this year, it has to be something like I watched for the first time this year. So, for example, last year it was Cobra Kai, because I watched for the first time in 2021. 2022, Stranger Things Season 4, that would make Stranger Things show of the year because a new season came out. Or The Boys would be period, because even though The Boys released a new season this year, no, Breaking Bad's a better example. Breaking Bad I never watched, started watching it this year, so it is a candidate. So, if Breaking Bad magically got a 6th season and it came out next year, then it could be a candidate for show of the year. So that's the way it works. I know it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's my show. And, you should have left at the 7-minute mark. Like I said, I've probably made that joke, I think 6 times this pod, and by the 3rd time it stopped being funny. So, I guess you really should have clicked off by then. I did it for 7 times. So now I've officially burnt the joke out. And if you listen to the whole thing, I thank you. And you're probably my mother, but I still appreciate it. All right. Thanks, Mom.